Okay, I've had a little interruption now. I'm going to start this one again. We're going to be looking at this, the $1 bill. Why am I looking at the $1 bill for folding money to reveal secrets? Loads of people do that after 9/11 and all that, folding money to find. That was all stuff, I'm sure, originally released by, I don't know, maybe people do find this stuff by themselves. I'm not sure. I've managed to find this by myself. Whether it actually means anything, whether there's something to it, or whether I'm reaching, you can be the decider of that. You can make your own minds up. I took a $1 bill. I want to show you how I get to this first. You'll have seen it on the thumbnail for the video. So I took a $1 bill. What I did is, right here at the bottom of the $1 bill, there's this cobweb here, and I put a fold right here. So you end up folding not quite in the center of this seal. So you fold that, and then you can fold the thing in half again, and you come over on the top of this other seal on the other side. And what that forms is the Vesica Pisces. If you go diagonal across that, you've got the event 101. It's the cross. Go diagonally across it. The X marks the spot from where you will be born from. If I can get this just lined up a little bit better, we can have a look at the actual word at the top of there. And I asked my kids, and we all agree. And what I first saw was T, the word T there. And we'll get onto the interestingness of that in just a second. But we've got the Vesica Pisces. We've got an eye on top of an eye there. If you look at it, it looks like an eye shape, an eyeball shape, but it's also the Vesica Pisces. It's an elongated sort of ovally shape, another eye shape, but up the other way, if you like. So what that box represents is square in the circle. It represents the control system, the thing that's controlling you right now. The spider web inside here is what you get stuck in. So you're boxed in here. You're boxed in with this system. Now, you've got a choice. When you're born, from the center of here, you can either descend into this system here, to the trap, to the spider's web. And by the way, a spider has how many legs? 8 legs. And that's just because I probably will forget to discuss that later, but we're getting an 8 out of this. We're going to get 2 8s out of this, because you've got an eye on top of an eye. Okay, an eye shape. And the 2 eyes put together form the 8, the figure 8. So you've got a figure 8 here. You can pull this apart and take the center out of this. Okay, and you've got the figure 8 again. You've got an 8. So you've got 2 eyes on top of one another there. Put this back together. Oh dear, oh dear. This is just almost be worth having about 3 or 4 ones all taped up so you can see this easily. But this is what we're dealing with. This is a figure 8 in the middle, a hidden figure 8. It's a 101 on the diagonal. Okay, and you've got it going the other way as well. 101 and 101. Did I do that the right way? Whatever. This is the event date, and hidden within this is 8/11 or 18/11, should I say. 18/11 is hidden within this. So, what's the reference to T here, Dan? Well, when you're born, get back on track. When you're born, you can either descend into the net and be captured or caught up in the trap of the spider, or you can ascend into the T. The T is, it's the crucifix, if you like. I'm not saying that you're going to get crucified. I'm saying it's the cross of Christ. That's the shape of man. When you extend your arms out to receive the light from above, you become a cross. You turn from a pole, from a single figure eye, into a T. you become it. I don't know, but you receive the light from. That's the shape you make. Is that cross, the plus sign? That is T. T is also the number 20. 20. Okay, so we have a reference to 20 in here. We have references to 8, maybe with the spider. We have a double I on top of it, a double O on top of itself, which makes an 8. Or the two holes, the eye and the place that you're going to be born from, the Vesica Pisces. This, getting all messed up here. This references the dam right here. So the Vesica Pisces is the dam, but guess what? If we look at these two things here, what do we have? We have half a pyramid on one side and a line. So we have a dividing line. We have a pyramid on one side. Well, what's in Vegas? What's in Nevada? The Luxor, the pyramid. And then on the other side, you have Arizona. What's Arizona? Arizona has the Phoenix. Okay, and there's the Phoenix. Look, there's the sun above it. The spread eagle, whatever you want to call it. It's also a Phoenix. You could call it. That's also the sun there. That's Horus. That's the sun on top of the eagle's head. The eagle flies through the sky like the sun, or the hawk, or whatever. You know, everything's going. The hawk, the horizon, the sun traveling through the sky. So you've got one side which is the sun, a natural, a bird representing nature or Christ, balanced with the control system, the pyramid. So what you have here is a reference to Nevada and Arizona. This line here is right where the dam is. The dam is right at the center of this. So you have this, you know, it's just a reference for the Hoover Dam thing, right here. Anyway, what else do I want to say about that reference? There's a lot of different things. I've got another folding here. I'll show you in just a second, which might explain it a little bit as well. What else do I want to say about this? I wanted to go into the T a little bit. If we rearrange the letters of T, what do we come up with? So, actually, before we rearrange the letters, I've got you thinking now, though. T. What was the British Empire built on? The last empire. It was founded on T. What was this empire founded on? T. The free man, which has now become corrupted. So what we had is we had the British Empire with the T, and then the Americans got fed up with the British and threw all the T out at Boston into the harbour or whatever they did. So we had the Boston Tea Party. So the free man was founded on this thing, and what has happened is the system has re-corrupted back into the next generation of the empire, which is the American empire now that we're in. So all these different empires that we have are just, they're the same empire, the same thing that we're dealing with, the same problems that we're having, and that is the draw of the fictional side of the system that draws us back into this problem. But this is really where you want to be. You want to be the T. You want to be the Christ. This is what you have a chance at. Even though it's going to probably re-corrupt, you have a chance at being the T, the Christ. This is the balance of the two sides of the system. That cross, the cross in nature, is the balance. This 10 square miles here, sorry, 10 square miles, Dan, what are you going on about? This square that's containing you is the 10 square miles, oh gosh, of Washington, D.C. This is Washington, D.C. The White House, if you put a map, in fact, it's up this way. Blimmin' hell. if you look at a map of Washington DC, it's just like this. In the center is the White House. On one side you've got Virginia, beyond this side as you're looking at it. I think I'm getting all back to front because I'm doing this from behind the thing in front of the camera and everything's turning around on me. And you've got Virginia on one side and Maryland on the other. You've got the Virgin Mary, and right at the center is the White House, the place that represents it just represents the fiction, actually, from my point of view. The White House, it is, if you look at the White House, and we'll get into this in another video, but if you look at the White House, it's got two faces. It is the clock tower and the dam rolled into one, and it's right at the center of this note. It's right at the center of this Vesica Pisces. You've got the rivers there in Washington DC, and they form a Y. The same as the flux capacitor, the same as Lake Mead forms a Y. There's just so much. The T. So anyway, let's go back to the T. So this is the interesting thing. It forms the free man, and it also ends up being the foundation of the corrupting system, which of course the free man always is. It always, the free man ends up being corrupted eventually. You've got to work pretty hard not to become corrupted by the system. To be the balanced man, to be the righteous man, it's a lot of work. Anyway, so this is what we're striving for, this balance between the two sides. What else have we got in the T? Let's rearrange the letters. We've got the word 8. ATE. We've actually got another reference to 8 there. Okay? So we've got the 88. What else have we got with the word T? We've got a couple of different things. We've got ETA, your estimated time of arrival. What's your estimated time of arrival at T, becoming the Christ? When are you going to become the Christ? When are you going to come out of the fictional waters, be reborn, and be, if you like, baptized as the living man? This is, these two faces here, two things are coming out of this. A real living thing and a fictional thing. You've got the man, the natural man, and the fictional man, the birth certificate. So when you're born and you get caught in this trap, before you become Christ, you're BC, you're in the birth certificate, you've become the birth certificate. You've become before Christ. You haven't become Christ yet. I don't know if you're following that. This fiction creates a counterpart for you, a clone. It's a clone of you. The birth certificate is a clone of you. You have to understand what that is and know how to use it, or know how to not use it, or at least not be trapped by it. That thing there should be working for you, or you just should ignore it completely. I don't know. It's personal preference. But in order to be able to balance this thing, you've got to know what it is. The birth certificate is not you. This birth certificate over here is fiction. This is the same thing that traps you. This 10 square miles. 10 square miles, 100. You are the number one, the Neo that has to come out of the 100. The 101. You need to come out of room 101. This is your worst fears here, room 101. This is what they use to trap you, is your fears. So you need to come out of that room. Anyway, back to T. What else do I get from T? There is an abbreviation, and it's ATE, which means something about age, at the age of, or whatever. I don't know. But there is a reference to coming of age there as well. What else did I want to say about this? It's absolutely loaded, this. Let's take one other folding. This is the classical folding that I'm going to show you next. But yeah, Washington DC right there. This is the control system, the cube, the black square, squaring the circle, that thing that men have been trying to do, control God and essentially control you. Anyway, enough with that. I could waffle on for hours on that. I did the classical fold. Now the classical fold, if you ever looked at the Twin Towers one and you end up with that, you end up with a shape like this. Well, I did it with the one. This is what I initially did, actually, because I was like, you know what, I want to see. I'll tell you one other interesting thing about this real quick. That image there, I know it doesn't really look like anything, but if you were to me it looks like the image of an angel. You kind of have that triangular shape here. Hang on, let me hold it a bit better. You kind of have that triangular shape here, and then you have the wing coming off of it, and there's a head there as well. It's a very loose looking thing. You have to really reach to get that, but it is kind of there. It's not very clear. I just wanted to put that in there. It is something you could pick out of it if you wanted to. So I did the classical fold. It's done slightly different because I was like, when I did it, it wasn't quite lining up right. So what I ended up doing, let me show you, is I took the note and I actually folded it in half, and I took the bottom half of the note, so it's folded off center again. So I took the bottom half of the note and I folded it back up on itself, and I actually used the line on the black line on the back to reference my fold. You can figure it out anyway. So it folded in half lengthways, and then what I did is, then what you do is you've got it that way, and then what you do is you want to pull these two sides together like this, and then you can crease this back down in a triangle. Okay, this is interesting as well, what's on this one. It's a little bit of, you have to, I don't know if you kind of want to see it, but let's look at it. Okay, what we've got here is we've got the dam with water rushing out of it and hitting the deck there underneath. Okay, you've got this arch at the top. Let me get the pencil, I might be able to point to it. You've got this arch, this banner, which forms the arch, which is the arch of the bridge that's in front of the Hoover Dam. Here's the Hoover Dam, and here's the water pouring out of it and going psh. This again is the Vesica Pisces again. Okay, if I can draw around it, yeah. Anyway, it forms a Vesica Pisces again. So a reference to the dam again. We've got the 101 on here again. Okay. What else have we got on here, Dan? Well, we've got a U. It's not a very good U, but it's a U, which is a V, which is a reference to the dam. We've got on or no. I'm looking at it as on, and what is on or an? An is the Father God. On. Okay, that's where our term on comes from. This is also a reference to electricity and the divine spark, and also if you turn a light switch on, you know, I can't remember who I heard that off years ago. Might have been Jordan Maxwell, whatever his name is. And then what have we got down here? We've got Ra. Ra is the sun, is the god, the sun god. Sorry, the son of God. The son of God. So we've got God up here. We've got this thing here, which is the Vesica Pisces, which is the fiction. This is the spirit, and from there is going to birth Ra, the sun. So this is your rebirth right here. You are going to become Ra. Okay? From the fictional waters of the dam. I thought that was interesting. There's enough on there that makes it interesting to me. Let me hold it up a bit closer so you can see it a little bit better, and a little bit, try and do it a bit squarer down. Yeah, there it is. If you actually look at the bird itself, if you actually look at the bird itself, the bird itself is almost like the collapsed dam itself. This is the valley. The wings form the valley, or the U-shaped valley, or the U of the uterus, or the V of the valley, or it's the same thing. This is why these letters were interchangeable in Latin, I suppose, or they were the same thing, or they came from the same thing. And you have the sun there coming from the fictional waters. I'll tell you what's interesting about it as well. You ever seen oh, let me fold it back again. Have you ever seen, what's the film I'm thinking of? I can't fold it back now. The film I'm thinking of is The Holy Grail, with our man Harrison Ford. If you get to the end part of that, when he's picking up the cup and they're choosing out the cup, what does the cup look like that they pick? It's a very simple cup. It's just basically a bowl with just a very straight, short, stubby sort of handle on the bottom of it. This is the cup of Christ, which of course is the dam, is Mary, is all those things, is the illusion, the fictional system. So another little reference there. That's what I got from that. When I originally looked at it, I'm like, that looks just like that cup out of the Holy, the Holy Grail. Anyway, I think that's about it for this. That's 21 minutes. Going to be 22 by the time I say goodbye. There are some other notes that you can fold. I've seen other people fold these notes, and you can get a kind of a... So the 20, of course, is a good... And again, what have you got on the $20 bill? That's the back of the White House, or the front of the White House. Who knows which way is which way around? But that's the clock tower. That's what you see on the dam. That is the same thing that sparks down to Marty. Okay, that is that same thing. That's the where Diana's buried. It's the moon goddess. It's the temple. On the 2020, and you the 2020, yeah, the 20. So is there a reference in the 20? So you can get quite a lot. You can get quite a few numbers out of this. Definitely some 8s, 10s from the crosses that are in there. And of course 1s and 101, and you can actually fold it a few different. I've folded it a couple other ways, and you can make some interesting pictures out of it as well. You can get a 0 in the middle of that whole thing as well, but I just did it that way because that was the easiest. But you can fold it, and you can get that 0 of the 1 to come out in between here, in between these two. So you just kind of fold it in on itself and get that thing sticking out. Anyway, I don't know if it's worth going into the 20, the traditional way, the Twin Towers way of folding it. You fold it in half, but you're going to go I think it's the opposite way to what the Twin Towers would have been. And then you fold the back of it up, sort of push it out like this. And of course, you end up with that. It doesn't look terribly like water coming over the top of this. It kind of looks more like this thing's getting blown up. But this does look like water at the bottom of here. So if this is the same event or a different event, you do have 8 windows on one side, 8 windows on the other side, and you do have the DI formed with the window top and the window bottom. And is that a reference to Princess Di? I don't know. Some stuff in there as well. There's no point in me going. I mean, you can look up this stuff yourself. I don't think anybody else has pulled that out of there, though, the Princess Di thing, or the 8 and the 8 on the windows, just the basic stuff. I did hear, and I got put onto Jonathan Kleck a couple of times, and I got one of his old videos where he's talking about the Hoover Dam and this being water down here, and this does look like water at the bottom of here. But you know, we all come to the same conclusions, don't we? That I'd already seen. But he did that 10 years ago, something like that, some crazy amount of time ago, and you've come across this stuff. You know, bloody hell, these people already knew about all this stuff way before I did. I'm sure, no doubt, that this, well, maybe it doesn't exist out there already. I haven't come across this, but maybe this does already exist. You know, I don't know, you know, if somebody's already done a video on this. I haven't found the video on it, if there is one. This is all new to me. I just sat and did that the other night, messing around. I picked the one out, the $1 bill, because I'd already come to the conclusion that the date was going to be maybe 101, maybe, and God knows what year. Seen a lot of 2020s, but whether that's actually a reference to that date or not, I don't know. One way you could look at that is you've got 2 and 2 again, like at the back of the dam, and a 2 and a 2, stick a 0 in there because zeros don't count for nothing, and you've got a 2020. So I don't know, who knows. There's about 50 odd dates between now and next year, and then there's every other year from here on out. I will say this though, it's going to be a full harvest moon here on Thursday, when the spark when the spark comes from God, the 1.21 gigawatts that sparks the man, the real man this time, and not the gigolo for the gigawatts. We'll get into that on another video. That's that one, and you can pick out some other ones. I'll tell you actually, before I get off of this topic of money, because this will blow your mind. So I was looking at this morning, and I thought, I'll do the video this afternoon. We'll get the kids' homes, because we're homeschooling this year because of all this nonsense. I opened a book up. My youngest daughter is starting, we're doing counting money, and this is what pops up, and I'm going to have to save this for another video, but I think I can just talk you through it very quickly now. The penny, and this penny in particular, if you look at this, I can't even hold it straight, look at it. So you've got that shield. Well, that shield, look at the main body of the shield, is a V type shape with an arch in it. That is the dam. What's on top of the dam? The crown, the corona. Is this a reference now on this penny? 1 cent. I said to my kids, what's 1 cent? What number is 1? 1? What's a cent? What's a century? It's 100. So encoded on that, with the 1 cent on the front of it, is 101. You wouldn't believe it. I know it's 1 out of 100, but 101. 1 and 100 right there. 1 plus 100. 1 cent. And then you get into all the pennies. So you've got the dam there, you've got the crown, the corona on top of the crown. And we're like, let's dig out some pennies and have a look at pennies. You won't believe this stuff. Ah, portcullis. There's an English penny. One that I grew up with. Not an American penny. Look at that. Interesting, isn't it? There's the portcullis. What's the portcullis? It's that thing on the edge, on the side of the car, you know, lets you get in and out of the castle. So you have the drawbridge and you go through, and then you have to raise the portcullis to get through. The castle is the city system. The castle is the fictional system that offered you protection. You'd go and stay in the castle for protection. You'd pay your dues to the person that owned the castle. Usually whatever king was there or nobleman. That's the thing you've got to get through. In fact, you've got to get back out of that castle. You've got to come through that portcullis. Through that thing that's chaining you. In fact, that looks like those chains could be water coming over the top of the dam. The portcullis is the dam. It's the thing that's stopping you being born again. You've got to get through that portcullis and over that fictional moat, over the water there that's trapping you, out into the real world. Look, it's even got a nice little crown on the top. That's what you've got to become. You've got to become that king. You've got to become the king. And not ruled by another king, ruled by another corona. You've got to turn that corona into a halo. You've got to become a balanced man and an angel. That's what the balanced man is. Hang on, I got one more here for you. And I'm going to talk about this probably in another video. I'm going to do another video with some more with these on it, because you can't really see what I'm talking about here very good. But we've got Canada also has a 1 cent or a penny. And what's on Canada's one? A maple leaf. What the hell does that mean, Dan? A maple leaf? Well, you could go with a very basic sort of, well, what do you cover the private parts up with? What do you cover the Vesica Pisces with? A leaf. Okay, or you can use the phonetics of maple. The maypole. The maypole in England is a stick. And what are you when you stand as a man? You are that pole. So you've got this stick. And what wraps around the stick? All these, you go around, you dance around the stick. So this dance and music forms what's the word I want to use? It twists around the maypole. It forms entwines the maypole. It's the bondage around the maypole. I don't know what else to say. Some people will say it's a perverted ritual with the phallus and whatever else. I say it's a representation of the man being entwined with the fictional system. Those ribbons that go around the maypole are the things that control the system. So again, you've got another reference. As loose as the reference is, you've got another reference on a penny that is to do with the fictional system and your entwinement with it. What else to say about it? That's the thing that controls you, those ribbons that pull you into bondage. You have to break free of those ribbons. You need to, that maypole needs to get rid of the may. Get rid of the may, the merchant part of it, the MA, the merchant. That needs to go bye-bye. Or at least be controlled some way. You have to be in control of that and know how to use it, etc, etc, etc. I could go on for hours on this. I think that's way too long for this video. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something from that. I am overflowing. Excuse the pun. I am overflowing with stuff right now to do with this damn what I think is going to happen. But I don't, I mean, it's anybody's guess whether it happens this year or whether it happens in 20 years time or another 50 years time. Who knows? But anyway, hopefully it'll still be on YouTube for somebody to look at when it does happen. Everybody can backtrack. But anyway, one more interesting thing about the penny. Made of copper. Copper, again, we're turning from an orangey golden substance into a brown, and then into and I wanted to show you this, into that green, that film that covers the man that's underneath. This man here, the sun turns into this green thing. This green thing becomes this. So we've got this alchemical reference with copper. And it's, I was just listening to a guy going on about the Statue of Liberty, and maybe that was Jonathan Cleck no, that's been two different people. It was Cleck and it was another guy as well. I forget his name, Casey somebody or other. I think it might be Enter the Stars. Anyway, this is your reference to copper. This is what you're trying to figure out, is why there's a reference to copper. Why is Lincoln? Hang on a minute. What? Oh, that's the Queen. Why is Lincoln on the penny? Because it's a link to Cologne, or if you look at Lincoln, his last name is a very similar spelling to Cologne or Köln, or that cathedral that is in Germany, the original Twin Towers. So you have this reference. Guess what tomorrow is? Lincolnshire Day in England. Guess what tomorrow is? International Coffee Day, Cafe 80s, Back to the Future. We've got some more links popping in here. I will put that in my next video so people can see this a little bit better. I'm just basically going to go over the same stuff in my next video. I won't be doing this bit of folding in there, but I will be talking about some of this stuff in the next video. But Lincoln, yes, that guy there. Cologne, as we pronounce Cologne Cathedral, is the clone, the copy of you. We're back to the birth certificate. We're back to that fictional copy of you again. Your twin. That's your twin. The birth certificate is your twin. And that's the thing right now that's controlling you. That's the thing that you're living by. You're living under that illusion rather than as yourself. You should be living as a man and using that thing to your benefit, not the other way around. Anyway, that is a link right there to Colne. Lincoln. Anyway, tons of interesting stuff. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm going to have to call it a day on this video. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.